I just got home from a date. 2 hours. 2 hours of my life. One drink. Very tasty drink. 0 questions about myself. Can I tell you anything about the guy? Oh yeah, I can tell you a lot. Maybe more than his therapist. Here's the thing. There are a lot of debates out there about who should pay for the bill. Should we let him pay? Should we go Dutch? Let's talk about some dating etiquette that is not the bill. First thing, if you are a man going on a date with a woman, give her a flipping compliment. I don't care what it is. Your hair looks nice. Your outfit looks great. You tweezed your one eyebrow real well. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it looks like she is an ER nurse that pulled a double over Halloween on the Friday the 13th. Like, I don't care. You tell her she looks good. And you make sure you ask her something about herself. Now, if you're having a conversation and she asks you a question, volleying the question back to her and saying, "How about you?" That doesn't count as a question. Show a little bit more interest. If you met her on a dating app, ask about something in her profile. Like, literally ask her thoughts on daylight savings time. You know, I don't know why it's so hard for men to have conversations.
It's actually not hard for men to have conversations. What she's describing here, I find more common among women. Okay? I see more women doing this to guys than guys doing this to women. And really, when guys do this to women, it's usually because he's not interested. So it sounds to me like she's dating guys that are just really not that into her. And we already know what the problem is here. She's going for guys that she should not be going for, right? She's here. The guys she's going for are up here. So those guys are just trying to do the bare minimum in order to get you into bed. Simple as that, right? Just let's call a spade a spade. However, getting back to what she said, like, oh, you know, this guy doesn't ask me anything about myself. This is exactly what so many women, these women do, especially on these dating apps that a lot of you guys are on, right? You ask them questions about their family, their upbringing, favorite color, favorite music, favorite movie, you know, everything you can possibly think of. You have any brothers and sisters? Everything. She doesn't ask you anything, right? She just talks about herself incessantly. And then she ends a conversation. There's no question at the end. Like, you ask her, oh, what about you? Or what do you think of this? She never asks you that, right? It's just her talking about herself and nothing at the end. Women are way more guilty of doing this to guys, right? Especially good-looking women, or women who get a lot of attention. They just don't have the best personalities, right? And they just never develop their personality, so they don't know how to have a conversation with just anybody outside of themselves. So yeah, you gotta love it when these women complain about something like that, when it is way more rampant in with females than it is men. Nonetheless, if she does not want to have this problem, then maybe she should fix her picker in the type of guy she's going for, which mostly are, no shocker, probably higher value guys, right? Because she's not going to have this problem with lower value guys. Lower value guys will be happy to be there. Lower value guys will not only ask you questions about yourself, will not only try to get married on the first date, like a lot of these guys do, like, oh, how many kids do you want to have? Oh, what kind of house do you want to buy? Or what neighborhood do you want to live in, right? They're already asking all of these questions, like, as if they're going to get married that night, right? No, from high value guys, you're not going to get all that, right? And especially when there's not an even trade-off of value going on where the guy knows he could be sitting at dinner with a hotter, younger woman, but he's sitting there with you who's kind of like, I didn't have anything else better to do tonight. That's why I'm here. And you're a bit older than what I'm used to, but you know what? You're good looking enough to be out with right now. So, can we just go back to your place? Right? I don't want to sit here and do this long discussion about our goals and, you know, what's my love language and all this. I'm just not going to answer that. By the way, that's a trap. If you ever get these girls go, hey, what's your love language? You know what you say, guys? You don't go, oh, I'm an FNIG, or what? I don't even know what they are. But I've had that question a number of times, right? In person in venues, like, what's your love language? I'm like, come on, man, I'm a guy. But really, you asked me that? It's almost like a trap question, right? Where you think you might be impressing the girl, like, oh, I read that book, I know my love language. No, you're just turning her off. You're just showing her like, wow, this guy doesn't have a dick, does he? He's got a, big vagina between his legs. But the way to answer this question without fail is just to go, I haven't read that book. I don't know, right? It's not a big deal. I know chemistry when I feel it, right? If there's chemistry, if we're vibing, I'll know it. I don't need to know your love language, right? I just need to know if we're vibing, right? You just say stuff like that, right? But don't comply, right? That it's sort of what we call a compliance test in the pickup community, right? Is when you go, oh, what's your love language, and you try to get her to, you try to get the girl to qualify herself to you. However, she's trying to get you to qualify yourself to her. Don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap. So anyway, next clip.
I turned 40 6 months ago, and I want to share with you some of the things that I am way too old for as a 40-year-old woman who's single. Men who are still figuring out their dating goals. Now look, if you're figuring out your dating goals, that's absolutely fine. And I'm going to be real. I'm grateful that you put it into your dating profile, or maybe that you tell me that right now you're not looking for anything serious, because that means I can turn and run for the hills. As a 40-year-old woman, I know exactly what I want, and that is to create a loving, supportive relationship. And I think to be doing that, you've got to kind of be dating someone who wants the same thing. People who can't communicate clearly and effectively. Granted, communication is a skill, and if you haven't learned that by now, it's going to be really difficult for me to have a relationship with you, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship, because I just value honest, real communication so much. It's so important. And how can you really have a successful relationship if you can't communicate? I am way too old to be needing other people to do things with. Now, granted, it's really great fun to do things with a date, with a friend, but also it can be really, really great fun to go and do things on your own, like travel, go out, try new experiences. And at this point in my life, there is no way that I'm going to make my fun, my joy, and my adventurousness in life be dependent on anybody else. I am way too old to be waiting for the right circumstances just to be happy. We've all done this. I'll be happy when I get the job. I'll be happy when I meet my person. I'll be happy when I have that amount of money, when I have that house, when I have that car, when I have that pair of shoes. I think that making your happiness dependent on an external source is an absolute recipe for disaster.
You know what she's actually way too old for? She's way too old to be single in her 40s. She's way too old to be doing TikTok in her 40s. She's way too old to be doing her makeup while she's doing a rant in her 40s. Besides all the other things she mentioned, all fine and dandy, but where was this speech in your 20s, right? Where was this speech 20, 30 years ago? Basically in the early 90s, when you were in your 20s. How come you weren't concerned about all these things that you're too old for now back then, when you weren't too old, when you were still young? Why weren't you on this back then? So you wouldn't have to be complaining about it now in your 40s, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? Where was this back then? Right? And so now she will have to deal with the exhaustion and the frustration of trying to land the unicorn guy that these girls all want, right? The top tier, top level dude with good looks, 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, six in the pants. Land that guy, trick him into settling for her, which he never will. But he'll bang. He'll still, some of those guys will still bang these chicks. I don't know why, because they're not in mastery. Click the link below. Some of these guys will still bang these chicks, which gives them a false sense of hope, right? It gives these women, and this is really at the crux of why so many women these days have these astronomical standards when it comes to guys, right? This is kind of the paradox that's been created because with dating apps is these women will get guys that back in the day they wouldn't have had access to, right? Like these good looking dudes, 6 feet tall, six in the pants, 6-figure income, right? They have access to these guys who will, from time to time, have sex with them, which they equate into their heads as them being on their level. No, because if you were on their level, they would do more than just have sex with you. They would commit. Okay? You're kind of like a hooker at this point, right? It's like he comes in, he gets what he wants, and that's all he wants, right? He doesn't want anything else from you, right? So this little, paradox, so to speak, that's been created from the dating apps where women who are, way past their prime in their 30s or 40s, or just, a 6 or a 7 at best, think that they are 10s, right? The reason why that's happening or act like they're 10s is because of the fact that every once in a while they'll get one of these hot guys to have sex with them that won't even stick around, but still the illusion has now been created in their head. The illusion that, oh my gosh, look at me, I got this hot guy. That means that I'm hot. I was undervaluing myself. No, the guys just want to have sex with you. Okay? Because the true measure of if you're on his level or not is if he commits to you, is if you become his girlfriend. Okay? That is the true measure. Because if you don't become his girlfriend and he's just banging you, that doesn't count. Okay? You're not on his level. You're just not. But these chicks think they are. So they continue to chase this this invisible carrot around the racetrack, kind of like the dog races back in the day that chase this carrot, or in the cartoons I used to watch. These dogs are like chasing a carrot around the track, but they never get the carrot. That's what you're doing to yourself, and then it just causes a lot of this mental frustration, and then ironically, instead of taking it out on those guys that are taking advantage of them, who do they take it out on? They take it out on the beta brads that do want to settle for them, that do want to be good to them, that do want to be, good men. They take it out on those guys and punish them for the works of the bad boy, right? For the errors of the bad boy, they punish the good guy. Oh boy. Sometimes I just think they're cursed, right? Some women are just cursed to be single forever. I really believe that. As always, drop your comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. So I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is M. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also hit that notification bell up top so you are notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video. Also, more importantly, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton when you guys actually subscribe to the channel. It tells YouTube you are digging my content, you're feeling me, you want me to produce more content for you, so make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And for you guys who want to support my work, support my channel, and support everything I'm teaching guys here even further, the best way to do that is to get into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I'm teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the hottest women on the planet. I'm talking 8s, 9s, and 10s. The same exact type of women that myself and my students are approaching and closing every single week. And I kid you not, we do this every single week. And all of these women, by the way, guys, are under 30 years old. Okay, they're all under 30. Our prime demographic is from 18 to 29. But What myself and my students mostly focus on are those late teens, early 20s, when women are at their peak physical attractiveness. Those are the type of women that I approach and that I teach you how to approach. So if you want to support my work and learn how to pick up hot women in the process, jump into 7 months of mastery. The first month is only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons. So it's only $1, guys. So take advantage of it. Click that link below. It'll take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It only takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.